Hello and welcome to this traditional edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah and I'm joined by two very knowledgeable, handsome, intelligent young men to discuss the importance of tradition in national development with Ghana in perspective. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Nee Okwe Hammond. Welcome,
Thank
Dr.
you. Thank you.
And I'm also pleased to welcome the High Life legend, Ben Braco. Ben, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, let's dive right into this because Ghana, by all accounts, we seem to be leaving our traditions and cultures behind. And Ben, you wrote a sizzling article on this subject matter, which really prompted this interview. So let me begin with you. How important is maintaining our traditional culture as we try to develop our country?
Our traditional culture is really all that we've got. Without it, we are flotsam, we're nothing. We're just aping other people and other cultures. Our traditional culture is what defines us, is how we communicate. It defines our philosophy of life, how we relate to nature, to other people, and everything else, how we communicate. So without that, we are nothing. It's the only thing of value that we have.
Okay.
Okay, that distinguishes us from, other beings.
Okay.
We can't really call ourselves human beings if we don't have our culture.
Very good. But what does it really mean, Dr. Nee Okwe Hammond? Culture. I mean, when people say culture, I'm thinking about kente and dancing. What does it really mean?
Well, culture is the sum total. Culture is the sum total of a people's way of life within their environment over a given period of time. So it is, in fact, very often it is generations, ages. Culture is the sum total interaction between the people and their environment, and it manifests itself in all kinds of activities. You have their even their food and drink culture, their dress culture, their political systems, which is part of their culture, their legal systems, so judiciary systems, traditionally, how they adjudicated their things. These are all parts of the culture. And traditions are just the way the people, the way they do their things, which is handed down from generation to generation. So traditions have to do with certain handling things that you do, and the way you do it. So you can say this is our traditional way of marrying and stuff like that, or name ceremonies and things like that.
Well, based on this discussion, then I think we still have it. So, Ben, why do you think we've lost it? And if so, how did we lose it?
Well, I don't think we've lost it. If we'd lost it, then there'll be no hope. But essentially, as a country, we're not running it by our culture. And let me clarify this, because really Ghana is a carved up territory. Okay, what makes you a Ghanaian is not because of anything else apart from that your ethnic group is within that territory that the Europeans carved out and named Ghana. So really, your essence is your ethnicity. Okay, but we've lived together because there's more similarities between us than
The difference.
differences. Yes, so it's important that we all the passion we have
Okay.
really, about ourselves. It's from our ethnicity. You see
Okay.
what I mean? Like you can't compare the president to your chief,
Okay.
your paramount chief.
All right.
That
So Dr. Neil, we have an old balance, okay? Since we're talking about our culture, let me quote one that I know. They say, "Emre Dania Danahubi."
Yeah.
So basically, it's inevitable that in this digital age, we will not change with the time. So, how do we change with the time and still maintain our traditions and cultures?
Okay, now there's one thing I should have mentioned when I was defining culture and traditions, because that these two words always go with identity and inheritance, heritage actually, and that comes from our ancestors.
Mhm.
And so that they are part of they are part of the discussion. If you take them out,
Mhm.
then you lose your sense of direction. Now, we live in a way that what I call the ancestral charge is what has guided most African society, communities, ethnicities to today. The ancestral charge has to do with you you receive something from your ancestors and they say take this and live with it, benefit from it,
Mhm.
if need be, adapt it, and ensure that the quality does not deteriorate, but you improve upon it and hand it over to the next generation.
Mhm. That's
So,
fine.
yes. So what we're doing now is
Mhm.
something because we have left, we refuse to look at the ancestral chart. We refuse to recognize our ancestors, their knowledge systems, their epistemologies, their ways of doing things. We are trying to reinvent the wheel
Mhm.
to fit our society, our traditional space, using or our cultural space, using other meters, other
Yeah.
measurements, other factors. And that is what is destroying
But some will say our ancestors, they never had mobile phone. They never had to deal with Wi-Fi or emails.
yeah.
So how do
Yeah,
we?
now you see, and that is also part of the problem because when we talk our ancestors, the things the knowledge they give us are fundamental, so fundamental. I mean, even if you look at the Europeans,
Mhm.
just 50 years ago, nobody knew about a mobile phone, and we
Mhm.
didn't have Wi-Fi and all those things. These are modern things, and so we can incorporate them into our lives in ways that favors us, in ways that resonate with our cultural aspirations, you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
So I mean, now when we talk about our traditions, Ghana has how many TV and would-be TV stations? So many of them showing, some of them really showing traditional things, which is also influencing our rebirth, rediscovery of our culture in positive ways.
Okay.
But we also have people who are showing things which do not add to our
Value. Okay.
traditional values, you
Okay.
know.
Ben, since you're a musician, let me put the same question to you in a different way. Literally and figuratively, can you email talking drums? Whereas in the past, our ancestors used talking drums to communicate. Can you email or WhatsApp talking drums?
yes, basically,
Mhm.
we had systems of communication
Mhm.
that that have been reduced and denigrated. Okay, but
Mhm.
we're not the only ones. I mean, everywhere they had their own systems. But I think, in essence, ours was even more efficient because you know something. Uh, we know that the existence
Mhm.
is very different from the physical. Okay, there's spirituality, and with spirituality, there's no time and no space.
Mhm.
So we had developed ways of communicating that were even more efficient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eh, But we're
But
because
let's face it though, Ben. Come on,
Mhm.
talking the way we used to communicate, the roll and talking drums and all that stuff. You can't send it to someone across the ocean like you do today with today's technology.
May I come in here? Because you cannot look at it this way, because
Okay.
traditionally we use the talking drums. That was the technology available at that period.
Right.
So I wouldn't say let's not use phones and use talking drums. I mean,
Okay.
it's a bit of a long
That's
stretch if
fine.
you look at
That's
it
fine.
that way. So,
I
So
agree
how
with
can
that.
we
but
incorporate today's technology while
And
maintaining
also,
our tradition?
mind you, a lot of these technologies, a lot of the crucial bits were created by black people anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Even in
All right.
Wi-Fi,
All right. So now, today's world, I'm looking at it from the today's Ghanaian, right?
Uh-huh.
The question, does it matter? How does it impact us today? How does it put food on my table today?
well, I don't know what you have not asked the question, Chairman Jermaine. You
No,
haven't, because
no. I'm
what
saying
I
that I'm
yeah,
saying that I'm looking at it. You guys are traditionalists. And
yes,
I'm asking the question as a young man today with my pants on my butt, right? Who don't
yeah,
understand tradition. And I'm
yeah.
saying, who cares? What does it, how does it affect me today? I
Okay,
want
well,
you to educate me, the young man,
Okay.
how it
Okay.
affects me today, the
w-
traditional negligence.
you see, there has been a cultural onslaught on
Okay,
the African, and
okay.
that took place after the period of slavery. In fact, it was already going on during that period of slavery, but the African cultures, I use it consciously, were so resilient that even slavery couldn't destroy it. It
Mhm.
was when we made peace with the Europeans and the colonizers that they were able to really break up our power, our spirituality, our knowledge systems, and relegate it to the background. And they introduced what the values that even they were still even experimenting with in their own lands. They sold it to us as the reality. And because we are from a different place with different circumstances, climate, and everything, there are there are clashes, cultural clashes, clashes in knowledge systems. I mean, traditionally, and then I'm talking about pre-colonial times, when you committed a certain crime, you could be killed.
Mhm.
And not all killings had to do with hanging or with the sword
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
shooting. It
Mhm.
also had to do with being removed from where you came from. And when
Okay.
you are removed from, you are banished, you are not supposed to come there. You could be sent away for a number of years,
Mhm.
and then you'll be permitted to come
So
back.
that was a form of prison sentence.
That was a sentence, but that
Okay.
was a kind of, if you go and come, that is
Mhm.
a prison sentence that you can, you go and come back.
Right.
But
Okay.
if you don't, there are ones that you don't come back, and
Mhm.
that's it's like you are dead to
Okay,
your
so
people.
that in today's term is life sentence in prison.
Exactly.
Okay,
And then
all
you
right.
go into another culture, you go
Mhm.
and join another ethnic group because you want to live. When you
Yeah,
are sacked from you, wherever you come, you are viewed with suspicion because
yeah,
why can't you live where you belong?
yeah.
And you
And and
have
and and you raise a very important point. And let me go to Ben on this. This business of punishment, right? It may not seem like much. Oh, you've done something. You've been banished from your people to go to a far place, right? It may not seem like much, but back then, the communalism that we practiced, the benefits of living among your own people was so valuable that if you were
enormous.
sent away to live
Yeah.
with a strange set of people, that was similar to being sentenced today to the prison, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Ben, to that end, uh, clearly the Western influence, along with religion, has tainted, if you would, our culture. How did it do so, and what should we do about it?
Well, I mean, first of all, they found out that they knew that in order to control us, they had to uh, ma- marginalize our culture. That was our strength. And that is even this banishment is to do with that. When they found that the Ashanti king was so powerful, they banished him, and it reduced the strength of the Ashantis. Okay, and by the same token, putting us through an educational system and a religious system that took us away from our traditional culture, reduced us. Okay, so we didn't know our strength. In fact, we started denigrating ourselves in terms of who we are. We thought that we were lesser because they told us, and then also they showed us in so many ways, when we had to learn from them. Okay, we began to take out our sense of our own history from them.
Okay.
And they distorted it so badly that we do not have confidence in ourselves. The fact that
they erased our history, they eroded, they cut us away off our history.
Well,
they told you were next
people.
You were the next evolution of the monkey.
Yeah, but what kind of people would readily abandon their own systems to adopt a foreign system so easily?
To begin with, they didn't willingly adopt it willingly. No. There were clashes. There, just like the Ashanti Wars, just like the Akans fought against it. They came. They didn't. The white man the European was very smart, and they played a game of divide and rule.
And they had a lot of practice. And they, so it's something. It's something that is in their character. You find that genocide, taking over other people's lands and property, and marginalizing them is part of their game plan. And the fact that and they do it in such a way that it is even difficult for those that they associate with to recognize that these people are enemies.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. It seemed to me, from what I'm hearing from you guys, our traditional systems and our beliefs run into conflict with Western and other religions, right? And it seemed to me that the latter is winning the battle. Question number one, can our traditional beliefs coexist, or shall I say be incorporated into Christianity or Islam, or should we choose one over the other?
Who do you want to?
You go first.
Okay, I'll tell you something. To begin with, Islam already was Africanized. If you go to Senegal, northern Ghana, and all those places, you see Muslims using amulets and having their ancestral faith syncretized in the Islam things, which, of course, the pure Islam from Middle East do not allow, but these people did it. Now, when you take Christianity, many elements in Christianity, if you take Catholicism, Roman Catholicism, for example, they have ancestral worship. St. Anthony, St. Jacob, and everything. And they use holy water, and they use, just like we pour libation with water and with alcohol and things like that, and are aware of our ancestors who have contributed seriously to our existence. Now, again, it always begs the question, who is an ancestor? An ancestor is not just anyone who has lived before you. An ancestor is someone in the family or the community or the nation who has done great things.
I thought an ancestor is someone with a gray beard.
Oh no, an ancestor must pass on before. Maybe his picture.
An ancestor.
Not yet. I'm an elder, and hopefully I might become an ancestor, depending on how useful I live for my people to emulate and remember me. You see, being forgotten after your death, or even while you are alive, is the true death.
Yeah.
So if you contribute that your people never forget you, like Kwame Nkrumah will never be forgotten.
Yeah.
Ben, all over Africa.
Ben, I was trying to I was trying to push my way into the ancestral club, but It seems like Dr. Neokwe has denied me entry. So let me come to you.
You
Well, he
are
has a bigger
allowed.
beard.
You are
Huh?
allowed.
Yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
your article focused on Christianity or Western religion or other
Mhm.
religions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm trying to find that is now that Christianity and Islam in Ghana, these are the two main ones. Go to the mosque to play, to pray, and other people going to church and all that stuff. I think it's unrealistic to expect that these people would now all of a sudden return to their traditional beliefs. If so, then how do the two coexist?
Well, this is what my article was about because
Mhm,
I think it's the first piece of getting rid of all these religions.
mhm.
Now, the point is that uh, any religion does not have to uh, be against your culture and your traditions. You
Okay.
know, and if they are a true religion, they will recognize that even before they came, we had only one omnipotent God. Okay, and so it's the same God. So whatever but you see, for various reasons, they try to put our things away, mainly because of trade and also influence. You understand? As they say, like if you have to wear a suit, you are supporting their market. If you have to get married in a white lace and drink champagne and this, you are eat their food, everything. You see what I mean? So that influence has a lot to do with trade and control.
Mhm.
But one of the good things that I find is that we haven't lost anything as such because the majority of our people still believe in our age-old customs and heritage and culture. Because, like I said, when push comes to shove,
Mhm.
Ghanaians and Africans, they go down, they don't go to the bishop.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's why when somebody say Nyamin betia cow, say, oh fine, you shake it off. But if they
Yeah.
curse you traditionally, you're
They
shaking.
say, well, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
people kill for that because
Right.
somebody cares them, you
Okay.
know.
So now, gentlemen, let's look forward. Let me start with you, Dr. Okwe Hammond. How do we rectify this?
First, we need to look very critically at ourselves because traditionally we believed what we believed and did the things the way we did because it gave us results. Now most of us are like in Ghana. The people easily say that Ghanaians are 75 Christians, and why do we? If Ghanaians are 75% Christians, or the population is 75% Christian, how come that then corruption is also 75%? At
Mhm.
least because we have everything we can't deal with it now. We are not having the results we need, and you see, results is what lead us to certain places. People go to church to get visitors. People go to church to be well. People go to, and that was also the same in our ancient traditions. But
Yes.
ancient traditions, if you go against the traditional spiritual rules, you die. But the Christianity becomes a favorite there because if you do evil and you just before you die, you say you accept Christ, you are supposed to go to heaven where you can meet him and have fun and not go to hell. But the traditionalists do not care about heaven and hell. The
Mhm.
traditionalist is saying if you are killing us, we'll put you in jail. We
Okay.
will give you the sentence. We'll throw you away. We will deal with you that you don't become a problem for us again. But
Okay.
now that our people believe that, I mean, that freedom, that fear of being asked to be responsible for what they've just done directly, summarily, is not there anymore.
Okay.
And so,
So based on what you're saying, Ben, let me come to you on this. I'm particularly curious about what Dr. Neil Quay Hammond said about we're a majority Christian country, but we're also a majority corrupt country, right? If we compelled office holders, politicians, when they are swearing an oath to take office, right? Today, I think it's either Bible or Quran. Those are the two common ones. What if we included the traditional oath, as Dr. Neil Quay Hammond is giving, where the belief is, if I steal the people's money, so and so will happen? Do you think it will have an impact?
Oh, it will have a major, major impact. In fact, our whole thing was reduced to coexist, to adopt, be amenable to their influence. You see what I mean? And so, I mean, can you believe that they say we're still paying for Adam's sin? That was never forgiven. But when you go and steal something, it can be forgiven. When you go and kill somebody, it can be forgiven. So, you know, that already
There are a lot
shows
of
that
conflict. There are a lot of
it's not real. So, they instituted these things to weaken us. They found that that was our strength. And so they instituted these things just to make us amenable to their systems. Okay. And also to go away from our basic frame of life. That is to know that we are one with nature and one with each other. Okay. So now the reason for the corruption is mainly because we have adopted this lifestyle of materialism and not our brother's keeper anymore.
All right, Dr. Neil, let me come to you on this. Ben is saying that we should compel office holders to, in addition to swearing with the Bible or Quran, also do a traditional oath swearing.
Not in addition. Not in addition.
It
should be the only system, yeah.
It should be the only system. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I am going, basically the ramification aspect of this, Dr. Nee, that you said that if you do this, you will die. Is it guaranteed? Because in the Bible, it's saying that, yeah, you go to hell. We don't even know if hell and heaven exist because nobody has come back to tell us as such. Okay. At the same time, we've heard people say, Mabodia or traditional curse, and 10 years later, the person is still thriving. All right. So the ramification aspect of it, neither, in my opinion, has been proven or to be guaranteed. So how would it work?
Well, okay, we Africans believe that there is something called the spiritual world. And our ancestors look at us, the deities look over us. And if you swear on the name of a deity and you go against it, we believe that that it will have an adverse effect on you, especially because we also say that the mouth that eats pepper and salt creates things. So if you say I should die if I do something and you do it, you will die.
Who's the judge? Who's the judge? Maybe you've offended me. I feel you've offended me.
Fundamentally, it is a question of what the people believe.
I know.
If they believe
may I finish something?
Okay.
You cannot just shout pepper and pepper will be there. There's things are put in place to make sure that even the faith systems are supported. That's why we have cardinals and bishops and so on different lines. Now, if you decide to introduce the swearing of the oath or the sword with the sword of the state, you need to have the watchers of the sword and the oath, and they will form a body, an entity, which will ensure, which will animate that thing. So whatever you say then is witnessed by all, and it will happen. It does happen. Sometimes we don't see it immediately, but it's a question of faith.
Okay. You just reminded me about something as we're talking about this. I noticed you just reminded me that the president swears with a sword in hand, and that's supposed to represent the deity, as you say, right?
The spirit of the nation.
The spirit of the nation. Okay. So
no, he swears on the Bible. It is just a token raising the sword.
The scepter of authority. Yeah. Let me correct it. Reframe. If you look at the Ashanti stool, golden stool, for example, that is an embodiment of the spirit of Ashanti.
Yeah.
It is the owner of Ashanti.
Right.
Yeah.
And Asante Hene is the representative of the spirit of Ashanti.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, I
Okay.
get it. I get it. But the point I was making is, as we're now talking about compelling state,
Yeah.
office holders to swear with the deity or something
Yeah.
that symbolizes deity.
Yeah.
Well, some will say that presidents have been swearing with a similar symbol, but we know not all these presidents have been saints. So
Yeah.
does it work?
Yeah.
No,
It's
no, no.
about
Can I come in here?
Okay.
The thing is that these symbols
Mhm.
that encapsulate the spirit of our nations,
Uh-huh.
okay, they come from a very spiritual source,
Okay.
okay, that our people really believe in.
Okay.
Now, these things that they've created as the symbols of state and all that, they have no such basis.
the
They're just
spiritual
replicas.
base has been eroded.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
So I mean, the fact that the president holds that thing has no spiritual meaning or traditional meaning in any deep sense. It's
Well, at
just
the same time, if I
to,
hold my hand and swear to the deity, that meaning has also been eroded, no?
no,
I would rather say
Mm-hmm.
that because we do it as a matter of course, as a matter of how would I call it? It has no spiritual base. We have to redefine the spiritual base again,
Okay.
go
Okay.
back to it, and
So
ensure
put meaning to it.
to put meaning into
yes,
it. Because
yes,
because
yes,
let me tell you something. When Christians read the Bible that Daniel,
Mhm.
Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into fire and they didn't get burnt, we say hallelujah, God has done it again. If you go to the north today, the blacksmith dance, the chief blacksmith lies in fire with bellows being pumped and he doesn't get burned.
Okay.
And we don't want to, we see that our people call that demonic, but we see our own person standing in fire and not getting burned. So
Okay.
what are we talking about?
Gentlemen, we have 1 minute each in our final minutes. Now I'm going to make you guys the president of the country. What would you do specifically within 60 seconds? Tell us, if you were president today, what would you do? Let me start with you, Dr. Neil.
Well, if I were president, I will immediately allow other manifestations of our traditional spirituality to take center stage as well as the other people, and then I will ensure a rediscovery of their true meanings. And I need to get my ancestors to the forefront again, because one way or the other, we are because our ancestors were. In fact, they are alive within us and they left us so many things that can help us, guide us to restructure our lives and move on tracks that can be good for all of us. This is what I would
All right.
institute.
And Ben, President Ben Braco, what would you do?
yeah. If I were president, the first thing I'll do is ban the constitution and recreate the nations that constitute Ghana, and let the nations come together and the president has to be responsible to the nation, the national heads.
Yeah.
You understand? Just as the same way as our tradition goes, that like the paramount chief is
Mhm.
responsible to those beneath him. That is the smaller chiefs, and then it goes to the Odikros, and then it goes to the Busiapenians, so that hierarchy is there, and it's therefore always has the support of
Okay.
the mass of the people.
Okay. Very good. Now we've ended 30 seconds each. Advice to young people today. 30 seconds. Ben, go ahead.
You should know that the only thing of value you have is your tradition, culture, heritage, and history. And if you denigrate yourself, you are a useless person, because for you to insult your ancestry, it shows that you have no base, you have no origins.
Good. Dr. Nyokwe, 30-second advice to young people today.
Young people, rediscover your ancestors, learn their truths. Don't learn from people who tell you your ancestors are demon and leave it as such. Explore the truths, the hidden truths in traditions, rituals, and ceremonies. Learn them and apply it. They will help you. And the ancestors, your ancestors, you have to exonerate them and be proud of them. And then you will have an identity that you can be proud of.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I am telling you, this gray beard, Ben, I think Ben, you've debunked the notion that gray beard signify depth in thinking. Both of you have done very well for our young people and for our country, and for that we're eternally grateful. So thank you for coming to DNT, and for you, the viewer, thank you for watching this edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and sign off.